Welcome to an extraordinary look inside the everyday reality of ancient Roman civilization. Behold the glory of Rome, where citizens of status live in ultimate prestige.
Hey, do you mind? I am trying to give a historical introduction here.
In reality, only about 10% of the population actually wore togas.
Fire! The top floor is burning down. We need water quickly!
Frequent fires were a constant disaster threat for residents living in crowded city blocks. At its peak, Rome's booming population reached over 1 million residents. This created an incredibly dense, packed urban center, unlike anything seen before. To escape the chaos, wealthier citizens looked outward toward suburbia. Most urban citizens lived in tightly packed apartment blocks called insulae. In fact, these structures housed around 90% of Rome's total population.
This cheap wood is completely rotten and the whole wall is tilting!
My entire wall just turned into a pile of rubble overnight.
Don't worry, these 2 wooden beams will keep the building completely stable.
Looks perfectly up to code to me. Approved. The constant racket on these streets is driving me absolutely mad.
Therefore, I decree that no supply carts shall enter the city during the day.
So now we just haul everything in the dead of night instead.
Out of the way! These midnight iron wheels wait for no one!
By the 1st century AD, urban regulations dictated every hour of Roman life. For those with wealth, the interior of a home offered an oasis of peace. Wealthy Romans could hide behind thick stone walls to keep out the noise.
I just want to get some sleep.
Most regular citizens lived in crowded, multi-story apartment buildings called insulae.
Watch out below. These cheap walls are completely giving away.
No open fires allowed indoors. The whole wooden block will burn down.
No fire means it's so cold in here that even my lunch froze solid. It is freezing in here. Even my dinner is completely solid. Time to head down to the street and get something warm to eat. Ah, the local thermopolium. Finally, some hot cooked food.
These stone counters featured built-in jars, keeping stews and soups hot for customers.
Common offerings included simple lentils, chickpea soup, flatbread, and preserved local olives. In Pompeii alone, archaeologists have uncovered about 80 of these fast food establishments. Scientists analyzing these ancient food remnants discovered a wide variety of meats and fish.
Ugh, the stench out here today is completely unbearable.
Fire was an ongoing hazard in Rome's crowded, wooden apartment blocks. Emperor Augustus organized the first public fire brigade to control these city disasters.
Without modern hoses, the brigade often demolished neighboring homes to stop the spread. Tearing down adjacent structures created a firebreak, saving entire neighborhoods from destruction. Even the emperors had to worry about the terrible quality of urban housing.
Ugh, the stench in this city is absolutely unbearable today.
Every single day, the city produced over 500 tons of waste. To solve this, Rome relied on the Cloaca Maxima, our grand central sewer system. However, ordinary residential apartments were completely disconnected from this sewer system.
Without plumbing, we have to collect everything in these small bowls.
Watch out below! Out it goes, straight into the open street.
The law forbids it. You cannot simply throw your filth into the public paths.
Instead of throwing it away, we collect it here to process leather and fabric.
Workers stomped on clothes inside vats of urine to clean them thoroughly. Public jars were placed on streets to collect this valuable chemical resource. These collection jars were vital to the bustling shops lining Roman streets. Garum, a popular fermented fish sauce, was a staple of the Roman diet.
It was manufactured in large vats left out on coastal beaches to ferment. Romans put this salty sauce on almost everything they ate.
Romans loved garum so much they put it on nearly every dish, from meat to dessert.
This recipe calls for extra fish sauce, but the smell from the factory is intense.
The smell of fermenting fish is completely unbearable today. Ah, garum, the absolute finest seasoning in the entire Roman Empire. Ugh, it is literally rotted fish juice. How can anyone swallow that?
Because that is exactly what it was, the salted intestines of putrefying fish left out in the sun.
Just a dash of garum makes this simple soup absolutely magnificent.
After a long day, the city finally quiescens down under the stars.
Waking up early is tough, but a bit of cold water helps.
A single drop of water and a crumb. Breakfast is served.
Nothing unites the empire like a good, hot communal soak.
Wait, is it the hot room, the cold room, or the warm room first?
Oh no, that cheap breakfast bread is really hitting me hard right now.
Welcome to the Roman communal latrine, where privacy was completely non-existent.
At least I am alone in here right now. This is so embarrassing.
So, how is your afternoon going so far? And remember, modern toilet paper didn't exist back then.
Here you go, friend. Just pass it back when you're done.
This device, called a tersorium, was simply a sea sponge fixed to a wooden stick.
When scientists examined the remnants left in these communal cleaning troughs, they found a surprise. The communal sponge was an absolute paradise for whipworms, roundworms, and various parasites. To treat these persistent ailments, Romans often relied on basic remedies like vinegar.
As a result of rampant disease, the average life expectancy was just 25 years. This shocking statistic was heavily driven by an incredibly high infant mortality rate. In fact, data suggests up to half of all Roman children died before reaching the age of 10. However, if you managed to survive childhood, you had a decent chance of living well into your 50s. But the collective burden of disease weighed heavily, like a mountain of pure waste crashing down on the empire. Public restrooms offered a shared sponge on a stick instead of modern paper.
Yet, engineering marvels like aqueducts brought pure water to combat the grime.